That is our series, Ignorance to Wisdom. Wisdom means knowledge. Knowledge liberates. Knowledge liberates from what? From not only ignorance, but ignorance that causes the suffering and the delusion. One of the most important practice in the journey of the Eastern wisdom is viveka, discernment. The world is suffering. We have already understood that the first group, foolishness, scattered mind, attachment, selfishness, intellectual paralysis, vicious circle. And then we find that we are living in a world created by us that is suffering. That is suffering. The remedy is satsang. We'll talk in detail about this satsang also. But briefly, we understand satsang, listening and learning the principles, followed by contemplation and reflection, that results into non-attachment. This is also viveka. It results into dispassion, to steadiness, to awakening. Now you all are seekers, so I need not to go. Then we have a realization. Every day I experience something new. Every day, every moment. Oh, I have to tackle like this. And that brings us to the fourth group. Are you changing? Are you changing your behavior and attitude? Yes, I change. When I'm in front of you, I do namaste, but outside, who cares? That is a lack of viveka. That is an absence of discernment. Have I started Mangala Charan every day when I wake up in the morning? So it means I remind myself. I'm going to talk about very serious. Serious doesn't mean that we have to have a sad face. Very crux of discernment and viveka. So the journey of the self-discovery has boiled down to the five groups of practices. Pranayama, we have done it. Pratyahara, we have done it. Third is the viveka, discernment. Fourth is the japa, we'll talk about it. And the fifth is meditation. We are already doing meditation. But meditation will be refined. Your level of awareness of doing meditation will go deeper when you understand this viveka. Om Sahana Bhavatu. Are you doing Mangalacharan? Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karva Vahi Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvisha Ma Vidvisha Viveka. Third group of practice. Viveka gives you the freedom. What is freedom? We have to understand freedom. Take an example. Very serious, but very easy to understand and most difficult to apply. We are going a little deeper into the Viveka. But yes, as a seeker, it is easy to apply. What is freedom? I can give you a class. I cannot give you a class. I can give you a class differently. Only I have three options. Look at the freedom. Hmm? And what is the fourth one? I can abuse the freedom. So, freedom. Why are you doing like this? Why you are not sitting straight? You're not doing good. I can abuse the freedom. Apply this in your daily life. Freedom means I can do it, I cannot do it, I can do it differently, and I can abuse it. Clear? We are learning Viveka. Very easy, very difficult. Our master says, so who is using this freedom? Ignorance is using this freedom, or the knowledge or the wisdom is using the freedom. So I have to make a choice. So when I make a choice, I'm in Viveka. It's now let us see an example. I have seen a couple of times the cat or the dog near you during a session. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, she can also join you. I hope so. So you see that I feel like barking. I have a choice. I can do it. I cannot do it. I can do it differently. Clear? Take an example of a dog. Dog feels like barking. It cannot stop. Dog feels like licking when you're doing meditation. Huh? Uh, it cannot stop. It does not have the freedom. Are you clear? I don't have, you don't have the freedom. Dog doesn't have the freedom. Freedom of action. But on the other side, it has a freedom of action. It starts licking, so it continues licking. They do not have a freedom over action. They have a freedom of action. They do not have a freedom over action. That is the main thing we have to discern while thinking, speaking, and acting. Such a great way of understanding. Are you getting it? Dog, cat do not have freedom over action. They have a freedom of action. But how I can have a freedom over action? I can do it. I cannot do it. I can do it differently. Do you see that? I can blame you. I cannot blame you. I can do it differently. Are you getting it? Discernment, that power of discernment is lies with the human being. So Viveka here means what? I'm using the freedom differently in every situation, in every thought, in every speech, in every action. By knowledge, I'm adding something more. By knowledge, by understanding, I'm using the freedom over action. Action comprises of thought, speech, and physical action. Animals do not have freedom over action, they have a freedom of action. Cat jumps over here and there on your head. They have a freedom of action, but they do not say, my master is doing meditation. So at present, I should not jump, I should not bark. I abuse my freedom. Now I'm coming to the main thing. I abuse my freedom all the time. I don't want to do it differently. We have a freedom to do it by knowledge. We do it. We have a freedom not to do it. not to practice meditation. I have a freedom not to practice meditation. I have a freedom to report to you all 5 minutes before the beginning of a session or 10 minutes before. I also have a freedom not to report in time. Think, think. It is guided by the knowledge, it is guided by the understanding. I can stop blaming you. I can I can continue to blame you. I have the freedom. I can do it differently. I can get out of the blame game completely. Look at this power of discernment. Look at it. In every situation, in every relationship, if I follow this power of discernment, what is going to happen? Can you imagine? You're always in peace. I choose not to get upset. Simple. Freedom, again, I'm repeating freedom over action. Freedom of action, both animals and, the mosquito can sit, it has a freedom of action. It can sit on my shoulder. It does not have a freedom over action. Freedom over action comes by separating. Viveka is separation. I told you, separation, the mixture. I can do it, I cannot do it, I can do it differently, I can abuse it. Wow, look at it. At every moment in my life, every moment. Every moment in my life only will take place when you practice meditation regularly, when you apply these principles in daily life. You'll have a tremendous change in relationship, in behavior, in attitude in your life. Are you seeing the looking at the importance? Freedom over action. I have. My mind is full of impurities in the mind. Look at this impurity, how the impurity moves to the purity. My mind is full of a thought of blame against you, hatred against you, and I forget this viveka. So, what is going to happen? Animal mind has to work. I have a freedom to blame and complain and to fight with you. Animal mind. Animal mind do not have viveka. Before I translate that into an action, viveka is there, let me separate it. I don't have money, let me separate it. In any situation, when you apply viveka in every situation, you don't miss any opportunity to evolve. You don't miss any opportunity to purify your mind. You don't miss any opportunities to educate your mind to move to the higher state of awareness. It is so simple, so simple, and yet it is very challenging. It only happens only when the seeker, you become a seeker, you are a seeker of that real self, then only it happens. And that is why I told you we are going to understand the discernment of what is right and wrong, what is good and pleasant, what is the difference, what is how to discern between the goals and the means, the whole and the part, sorrow and the happiness. You want to get rid of what is right and wrong? Ask your mind, are you a pleasure seeker or a seeker of the real self at this particular moment? See that. Are you a pleasure seeker or a seeker of the real self at this particular moment. At every moment. When you are eating the food, you are a pleasure seeker or a seeker of the real self. Your attitude changes inside you because of the power of discernment. It calms down your hesitation. Dog feels like barking, it will continue to bark. They have a freedom of action, I told you. We have a power of discernment. So if you apply the power of discernment, should I bark? Should I not bark? Should I bark differently? Should I stop barking and should I choose something else? Even at the time of eating, even at the time of your relationship with the people outside. So you are purifying the mind throughout the day, in your personal life, in your professional life, in your social life. And within a week, you will see a tremendous change in your attitude. Your hesitation calms down. Are you getting it? Think of it. I'm just helping you to apply this viveka at every moment in your life. Third practice. The master has suggested the five: pranayama, pratyahara, viveka, japa, and meditation. Meditation we are already doing. We have to go to the japa. Third, in the middle, he put it viveka. The viveka helps us to climb a mountain of the knowledge. The peak represents the goal of realizing the real self. And the viveka comes here. Is an essential gear that equip the climber to navigate the challenging terrain in your daily life. And everything is happening inside. You can translate in your own way. Huh? The journey of self-inquiry. This is the real journey of the. Did I tell you that normal inquiry, modern research, scientific research, but here the self-inquiry, the research of the self has to be done with the viveka, with the discernment. The self-inquiry has to be done with the viveka. I have to filter the mixture. I am not to remain with an animal mind. Have you seen that I have changed my tone of teaching? Yes, to impress your mind that yes. The journey of the self-inquiry with the viveka is like a deep diving expedition where a sincere seeker, I'm using the word, where a sincere seeker, armed with the powerful underwater flashlight of discernment. What is underwater? Impurities of the mind. Plunges into the depths of your own being. You're filtering out, not required. And that requires a rigorous training in the journey of the Viveka, and that is why we are attending this session regularly. No, not a single thought and speech and action passes without Viveka. Think of it. You find a person whom you hate and you apply the Viveka. Hatred is gone. I told you, you can do it, you cannot do it, you can do it differently, or you can abuse it. Freedom. Discernment with freedom. One of the great masters I met, and I spent about 3 months with him. And in those days, I was totally obsessed with the kundalini meditation. Kundalini, you do the breathing and you have beautiful experiences. He changed my name and he said that you are now Kundalini Baba, because I was totally obsessed with it. And he introduced that, can you use the power of discernment here? And the ghost of that Kundalini, which was in my mind, dropped completely. So people doing all those Kundalini meditation, have you seen that? They always talk of their experiences. We are concerned about experiencer. Who am I? Experiences can come and go. The journey of the self-discovery is like a treasure hunt. I have to use the map of discernment. What is real and what is unreal. And once I find the real, I am settled, and only the knowledge will help you to settle in the real self. You see, I'm talking on the same topic in a different way. You have to apply this power of discernment in your daily life. A man once dreamed that he was a butterfly, fluttering freely from flower to flower. When he woke up, he wondered, am I a man who dreamed of being a butterfly? Or am I a butterfly not dreaming that I am a man? Am I dreaming? It's a dream that I hate someone. It is a dream that I have jealousy. It is a dream that I don't have money. It is a dream that I have lot of money. I can bet you. Viveka. Here comes the Viveka. Now people ask me, oh, meditation can give me the money. That I am crazy being a man or a human being, or I am a human being crazy. Discernment. It's the power of discernment. I can avoid being human or avoid being crazy, is Vivek. It's all about, it boils down to understanding. So when I recognize dog feels like barking, it freedom of action. Very good. Do I feel like barking? I have a freedom over action. Wake up in the morning, my mood is upset. I feel like getting upset, or I have a freedom over action. Are you getting it? Very simple. I'm taking you to a very deeper journey of this Viveka. But it's very simple, and yet it is very difficult. But by practice, the seeker can attend to that. I have an extreme headache. I will not attend this session. I have a freedom over action, or I feel like headache, so I will not. Apply this anywhere, anywhere and everywhere. Oh, I feel hurt. Now I'm going to fight with you. Freedom of action I have, like animals. Discernment says, do I have a freedom over thought, over speech, over action? I get carried away by that anger and the hesitation and the duality and the conflict in variety of situations in our life. What we are doing, moving from ignorance to wisdom. Why I want to move from ignorance to wisdom? Ignorance causes the suffering. And before the ignorance, we have lot of impurities in the mind. Unless I purify the mind, I cannot reach to the real self. Keep in mind. The path of this practice of viveka. Now compare this practice of viveka as compared to the practice of pranayama. And when you do the practice of viveka at a very subtler level, you have done pranayama, you have done pratyahara. I can bet you. You'll feel a tremendous energy, as if you have done pranayama for half an hour. It is so powerful. Yes, believe me, it is so powerful. Our practice master suggests 5 practices: pranayama, pratyahara, viveka, japa, and meditation. We are already doing meditation, but you will enlighten the practice of meditation. Master says, when you understand all the facets of viveka, discernment, that alone is sufficient for awakening. It is so powerful. Almost every master says this. No, I have not read it. Yes. Patanjali, we are already obsessed with doing asanas, pranayama, mudras. Huh? We have incense sticks outside. Oh, such a good atmosphere. Is there any good atmosphere inside your head? Master is talking about that. No, but there is nothing in Prana Patanjali also. Vivek Khyati Viplava Hanupaya in the first chapter. When the mind is established in discernment, Vivek Khyati. Khyati means when the mind becomes famous with the Viveka. You see how metaphorically Patanjali writes the sutra. Vivek Khyatir. Khatir, khatir. Vivek is the word you already know. Khatir means settled, famous. When the mind becomes famous with the viveka, viplava hanopaya, that is the only method that will take you to the way. Think. It points to the non-practice. Viveka khatir viplava hanopaya. Hanopaya means what is the method to awaken? Vivek Khyati. Allow the mind to become famous with the Viveka or settled in Viveka. Means the purity of the mind is there. Mind has become transparent. Ignorance is not there. Go back. For that, I have to contemplate and reflect. I have to listen and learn. Learn, listen and learn and contemplate and continue to do the practice. And then at the same time, I question. Many people say, What is in it? Is there a proof? Entire journey of the Eastern wisdom follows reasoning, cause and effect. There is no belief, there is no cult, there is no dogma, there is no release in it all. No blind belief. We say belief pending inquiry. That is what the trigonometry, that is what the geometry is. There is a problem. Prove that this is false. Prove that this is true. How the geometry problem works. Physics. So, how we cultivate this viveka by the fourfold practices. Understand this. So, remember this. I gave you a couple of examples. Remember this. Am I a butterfly dreaming of a man? Am I a man dreaming of a butterfly? All animals have, another point that I gave you, all animals have freedom of action. And I do have the animal mind for freedom of action. Viveka says you have freedom over action. So then I look at the choice. Which one is the best? Which one is the real? Which one is right? Which one is the goal, not the means? Think, think, think. You might have heard, in Mangala Charan, we say pray, worship the teacher, worship the God and goddesses. I'll talk about that, gods and goddesses. But see that prayer in the worship is the recognition that I have a freedom over action. Nothing less than that, nothing more than that. All prayers, worship is nothing but freedom over action. And when we have a freedom over action, I choose what is the I choose what is right over the wrong. I choose what is peace over the pleasure. I choose the goal over the means. Otherwise, well, how can I be happy? I don't have money. Do you see that? So means is money is the means. Are you getting it? My mind gets upset instantly because of I do not have a freedom of action going to a restaurant because I don't have the money. It goes down to such a deeper, subtler level in your life. At every moment, you have a pain, you have anxiety, you have mood upset, and instantly you apply this viveka. Life takes an about turn. So, my friends, think of it. Close your eyes. Eyes are closed, and let us see. First, eyes are closed. Viveka, the place. So you adjust and align, you find out the right place. You don't go by the habit. So when you don't go by the habit, one day what is going to happen? You will start the practice so casually. Place, position of the body. I'm not going there. Place, position of the body. And being comfortable. Can you discern here? So when we discern, we follow the animal mind. What is that animal mind? Now I have a lot of discomfort. I start moving the body, visiting, and throughout the practice I do it. Just see that. A higher seeker does not. He says, I am comfortable. I'm already settled in the comfort. What else I need? Hmm. And then being carefree. You're carefree. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. May there be happiness for all. Can I, at a very subtler level, ultimate cause, I find there is a happiness at the causal level, leaving behind at the surface level of gender, of sex, of color, of age, of people, of relations. Do you see that? Are you doing a discernment? Yes. Another way to look at these mantras. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. May there be peace for all. Animal mind has an hesitation. It has a freedom of action. Now I'm hesitated, what should I do? Animal mind demands, animal mind asks. Seeker's mind knows what to do. Here and now, the animal mind has taken over me. So you are not a seeker. Continue that practice, other practices. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. May there be completeness in all. Am I complete in myself? Yes. Am I hesitated by others? Yes. Then I'm not complete in myself. So, how the discernment will work here? Animal mind to the seeker's mind. Who does it? Contemplation and reflection. Freedom over the action. I'm hesitated. Freedom over the action. I'm simply using the same term which will help you to settle into that. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. May there be auspiciousness for all. Animal mind says, I don't want to listen to you. I have reaction. I have a hatred against that person. So we have to start fresh. Yeah, okay, calm down. Nothing is going to happen. We follow different approaches. But here is a direct approach. So now you see challenges before the teacher are immense. And now, in that state, we will continue the pranayama and pratyahara. And both are together. Look deep inside the forehead in the space. Point of awareness. You see, freedom over the action. Dropping Om Shanti there in the space. Stillness in the body continues and start breathing. Quick and short breath into the rib cage. Continue breathing quick and short. We will never leave. So I only speak about it, continue breathing. So you should not forget dropping Om Shanti deep inside the forehead in the space. You should not forget the stillness in the body is maintained. And now you are already absorbed in doing the breathing and the Om Shanti and the stillness in the body. Any resistance comes, I told you before. Do you remember? Yes, I remember. Resistance to? Because of the viveka, you move from resistance of the mind, which is an animal mind, to endurance. Endurance to the joy of doing. Here comes the viveka is clear. Viveka is complete, the joy of being. Continue. Continue. Breathing mantra space inside the forehead and the stillness in the body. Continue. Even I need not to say because resistance is gone and taken over by the endurance. And from the endurance to the joy of doing is because of the power of discernment. You can apply the power of discernment in doing the pranayama, and you are doing it for the first time. You can do it even for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour. And stop this breathing. Pay attention to the flow of the breath to both the nostrils in the state of total stillness, motionless state of the body. You are looking at the breath, aware of the breath, feeling the breath. It is the same thing, but you are not making any effort. It's a casual awareness of the breath. And in that awareness of the breath, start breathing deep, silent, and slow. Again, we are using the discernment again. As the breath goes in, you move the mind from the top center of the head to the spine, reaching to the tailbone, singing in your mind, loud singing in your mind. Om Shanti. And as you exhale, moving the mind from the tailbone to the top center of the head, singing Om Shanti. So mind, movement of the mind, deep silence, slow breath, and the Om Shanti, they sync together. That is the key. That is the key. Please continue. Shanti. Mentally, mind, movement of the mind, movement of the breath, and the spine awareness. Continue. And now leave this, move the mind deep inside the cave of your heart, visualize the triangle of any color, triangle pointing upward. It is an equilateral triangle. Moving the mind gently, dropping Om Shanti on each side of it, triangle, moving it in a clockwise and anti-clockwise fashion. The mind in the heightened state of awareness, say for example, Om Shanti takes, dropping Om Shanti takes 3 seconds. Accordingly, the size of the triangle is visualized. So you don't see that there is any disconnect. And that is what this sync is. So we are thinking logically before we enter deeper into the self absorption. And the moment you find that sync, your mind goes at the center of the chest again, singing loudly in your mind. And pushing the mind deep inside the cave of your heart. Mind seemingly stops. You drop Shanti and done. Absorption. Absorption does not mean that you are unconscious. You are fully conscious. You are fully aware. Well, if your mind breaks that absorption moment, you can move back to the triangle again and return to the state. Thoughts may be there, but if they are too far to disturb you, that is okay. You continue with you know that here is a point of self absorption and the thoughts are too far. You are aware of them, they exist, but you have recognized a different state altogether. Mm. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes, open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences, bring the hands down. We'll share our experiences. How are you, Dennis?
I'm good, thank you. The lesson today was very interesting. I was contemplating about the relation between the Viveka discernment and the freedom. And what I think is that Viveka allows me to confront my past impressions, like vasanas, habitual behavior, while the vasanas restrict my freedom because they prompt me to act in a certain pre-programmed, preconditioned way. And when I apply Viveka, it allows me to break this pre-programmed pattern of my behavior, and thus it increases my freedom. Regarding the practice, it was very peaceful, very comfortable, and there was a continuity of absorption at the end.
Beautifully summarized, and practice was good. Did you see that why we need the discernment to get rid of the animal mind? What is the animal mind? It is pre-programmed. Why it is pre-programmed? Because of the past impression. How the past impression, how the past impression takes over my life. That is what the freedom of action is there. There is no freedom over the action. Beautiful, Dennis. Thank you. How are you, Stephen?
I'm good, thank you, sir. I'm completely at peace. The at some point in the middle of the lesson, I just felt myself moving into this place within myself. Um, Even to the point in which I sit differently during the lesson than I do when I sit in lotus position for the actual practice. And I was so absorbed that I knew that I was still sprawled out in a very comfortable lying position, and at the same time knew I was absorbed in this meditation, and just said, just stay as it is. I'm not, don't readjust yourself, just go with this. And I just kept going deeper and deeper into the meditation in just an absolute blank space. Um, and it was just beautiful. So thank you.
Yes, yes, it happens. On a certain day, the body moves in a particular way. So when we are a seeker, we allow it to happen, but we are allowing it to happen in the state of discernment, not in the state of attachment to the non-seeker. So that is the difference between the two. What happens, gradually we will contradict everything. And once we contradict everything, what is left is the real self. How are you, David and Jerry?
Thank you. Yeah, very powerful lesson. The and Dennis, by the way, I love you always love your synopsis at the end because it's very succinct and very clear, and it felt very similar that the power when we put the power of ourselves over the animal mind or the animal habits, it's just it's freeing, and it's very, very powerful. So consequently, I had a very, very deep meditation. Thank you.
Beautiful. Yes, when the knowledge is there in the mind, which is 100% clear because of the power of discernment, and your mind, now the animal mind says, no, you have a pain, what should you do? But knowledge is clear. You have a power, discernment over the action. But what happens when the pre-programmed mind, habitual mind, impulsive mind, what it does, it says only you have one choice of action. Dog is barking, so feels like barking, so it will think of this. Think of this. So when we think, we create, we purify the mind. Beautifully said. How are you, Jerry?
Thank you, sir. I'm good. Yes, the pointer, thank you, directed my mind right to the observer, the knowledge, the seer, and therefore the start of my meditation focused there. And I saw the busyness of the mind, especially through the breathing and the rapid breath. And then I saw the mind start to quiet or get further away. And then really sat with the being settled in the knowledge of the real self, and the fact that we have thousands and thousands of impressions. So really through this lifetime, every day we have the choice, which gives us freedom when we know we have choice, and we always have choice.
Yeah.
To settle in the knowledge, so that when those impressions come up, as they will, because there's thousands of them, maybe more, we get to practice our viveka and see how we should
Yes.
move forward.
You're right. You're perfectly right. You see that as a seeker, I can easily avoid those actions which will further create impression. So when I don't make a choice, or animal action, when I don't make a choice, it comes out of the ego, and the ego creates a ripple of impressions. It keeps on depositing, accumulating in my mind. We need a freedom from that. And here the discernment works. Beautifully said. How are you, Samir? Uh,
Sir, whenever I am in discernment, or means my mind is in peace,
yeah,
I don't have to think about action. Actions are always correct and right. All
you're
the
right.
movements and all the expressions are always means cool and humble and not hurting anyone. And I have to think about the wrong action. For right action, it is always there. Means it is naturally flowing. Means, and if I am not in peace, I am angry or I am jealous about anyone, then I have to think about something wrong thing. But
Yeah.
for right action, I don't have to think anything. It is going on whole day if I am in peace. Means
Yes, yes, perfectly. You have touched upon differently, but it is beautiful. You know what the Dennis says, and what David and uh, everyone has just said before you, that those animal mind, past impressions, I work through pre-programming tool. So that pre-programming tool, if you give a break by freedom over the action, by discernment, just by thinking simply that I have a choice to act, not to act differently, I have a choice. So when I exercise the choice, means I am treating the impure mind.
no, sir, I don't exercise the choice. I don't feel like reacting.
That is good. It means
Means
the mind is already reached to that state of purity. And if we continue to live into that state of purity, you rightly said, when you live into the state of discernment throughout the day, there is nothing to choose upon. Beautiful. How are you, Christina?
And well, thank you. The line that stuck out to me today was, is there a good atmosphere in your head? And sometimes we get so focused on the right house, the right everything. And it's really always about changing the atmosphere in our minds.
And we have a choice.
Mhm.
We have a choice to move to that atmosphere. We don't want to move. I feel like barking, so I continues to bark. So that there is no freedom. How are you, Vaibhav?
Thank you, sir. The practice was good. Understanding is similar that we always have a choice, and with that choice, we can always decide that what is the path that we have to follow. So it will be with a clear head, it will come up automatically.
Yes, clear-headed, it will come up because when you consciously think, consciously thinking about this, Viveka is just a contemplation and reflection. And that goes a long way in your life. How are you, Terry?
I have a lot of more thinking to do about this
Yeah,
and trying to apply in real situations.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
before I know anything.
yes. When you live in discernment in every situation, all the time, in all the relationship, that is how those great masters used to remain aware. That is how they are full of compassion, as Samir was saying. The compassion is natural. Kindness is natural, love is natural, peace is natural, happiness is natural, joy is natural. So at that level, there is no choice. Why there is no choice? The animal mind has changed, transformed. But it doesn't work. No, it has to work. But now that animal mind is also clear, clear about those habits and attitude. See the power of discernment. We'll continue with the power of discernment again in our next lesson. That is all for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
sir.
Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste.
I like Kundalini Baba.
I,
That gave
yeah,
me a chuckle.
I will tell you a story.